Go get your lidocaine neosporin for your face. Just rub that shit on.
See, I love these moments when you make my face hurt.
It's we aim to please.
It's a good,
It's what
it's
we
a
do
good day.
best.
It's a good day when your bestie makes your face hurt.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
Oddities. Stay strange.
Good, a nice, solid, regular introduction. Then, yeah. Welcome back to
Yep.
Oddities. I'm Cassie.
I'm Kelly.
And welcome back to Strangetown, friends, odd family, because it's friends and family. Get it?
Odd
Family.
family. It's a new
The
word.
odd fram. Very cute all
Trademarked.
around. Yeah, we'll sue you. So, per usual, you can go ahead. If you don't believe me, just take a look now. Right in the description, we have links to all of the things: social media, our merch store. I'm pretty sure we have yet another sale running right now, like it happens every 5 seconds. We also have Patreon friends. Donate to the show. We just took a very interesting quiz that it told us a lot about ourselves.
It was a little terrifying.
It was a little terrifying. So if you're curious as to what it is, highly recommend you head over to the Patreon and donate. You can do so for as low as $1 per month, and you get bonus episodes every week, and all the former ones, like these
Just
little
binge
cat
us.
moves. Yeah, binge the shit out of us. Somebody's doing that right now and really appreciate it. Thank you for binging us. Hope
I'm
you
so
still
glad
like
you
us
love
after all
us.
this time. Glad you could put up with our intolerable banter. Just
Speaking of that.
the cows that we are. We have Kelly very brilliantly has found a way to turn Thaddeus 1964's insults into merch. So brace yourselves. And it's for a good cause.
It is. I
So
I'm kind of proud of myself for that. I'm not
I'm
gonna
proud of
lie.
you. We should talk about that when we're done here, real quick.
Yes, we will.
Okay, cool. So anywho, that's our little plug there, like that.
Yeah.
Just plugged it right in there. So, you know, just like that. How's my birthday?
I'm thrilled to be here with you today, as per usual.
Stop, same.
You're just my bright spot in my week. Like, and first off, like, I'm just
Oh,
thrilled to
and
always
you.
talk to you every day, because we talk every day.
We
But
do.
when I get to record with you, it is the just everything of my week.
Same. It's like a fun little boost. Just a
Mm-hmm.
little all natural boost ski that we need for one
It
another.
really is. Yesterday we had the conversation of all conversations.
Yeah, we roasted a lot of people who really needed some roasting. It felt
It
good.
was it was a good it was a good roast. You're not I'm like there's
You
end.
know what the best
That's
part
it. No notes.
is it was entirely judgment free of
Mm-hmm.
one another for saying these things.
It
And
just
we do
needed to
love this.
happen.
It needed to happen. It needed to come out.
It was a good cleanse,
It was, if you
one
will.
would
It was
say.
this. It was burning sage for the soul.
Ah, love
Do you
that.
like that? Instead of chicken soup for the soul, do you remember those books?
Burning,
It's burning
yes, burning
sage for the
sage for the
soul.
soul. Yes,
That's it.
very, very well said.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Did you have a good weekend?
Did I have a good weekend? I did. Corey's family came out to visit us Saturday. Um, I have to say, I've now earned the title of Master Marinator. I'm the queen of marinating meats. Just a little, and we just freestyle. We just a little this, a little that,
I
like
do the
Salt
same
Bay.
thing.
Yeah, it's like use up what we can in the fridge, and somehow it turns out like majestic. And then Sunday, I'm pleased to report the inside of our home is now decorated for Halloween. It is September 9th.
Studies have shown the earlier you decorate for Halloween, the happier you are.
It's just being happy. We just sparkle. So I have hot plans, not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend to do our outside. We can't do it this weekend. We are headed to a wedding Saturday, and
Hmm.
then I fully anticipate Sunday will be recovery mode. So
Solid.
that's yeah. How was your weekend, Borste?
It was good. On Saturday we went craft shopping.
Oh, oh yes. Yes.
We went to the Hobby Lobby,
Habla
and
labla.
Michael and I have decided once a month now we are gonna get these. I have to send you a picture, but they're these
Okay.
little tiny, like, I don't know how to describe it. They're little rooms that you build.
Oh.
They're little diagram rooms that you build. They're under $20.
Oh.
And so we're, as like date weekends, that's what we're doing. Except,
You're
however,
building
we
rooms?
underestimated this because we started one yesterday and then we blinked and it was 6 hours later and we weren't done.
Oh my God, it's a time suck. Okay, but like in the best way possible.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And it was just like, and the kids are involved in it because they help us with the little details. And it was very, it was enjoyable, but like, we blinked and it was 6 hours later and we don't know where 6 hours went.
Wow. Time
And
flies
then,
when you're building tiny rooms.
yeah, and on Saturday, after we were done there, we hopped over to the Michaels,
The Michaels.
and I got my apothecary house.
Secured. Secure. I sent Kelly a TikTok last week and it was like these spooky little haunted like houses that you could paint and I was like, "Hey, we should do this." And then we
Mm-hmm.
decided no, we're not going to do it together for the podcast, but like just as like bestie time.
Yep.
I'm glad you secured that. I need to get over and get one.
Yep. It was hard not to get all of them
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because the lights inside are different colors. So you
Oh my
essentially could
word.
have a village, a Halloween village.
Oh my word. We do have a Halloween village. We call it Spooky Town, USA. And now we can get another structure for it. Holy hell.
It's it's adorable.
Oh my God.
I love it. I loved all of
Okay.
them. I might go back to get the blood bank. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I need to get some shit then. Should I get the ones that you don't get?
No, get whatever you want. If we have the same ones, then it's like we just like have the same village. What's wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing. I've got news for you. I want all of them, so I'm probably going to get all of them, and Spooky Town USA will have grown substantially this season.
Upgrade.
And we also came up with like like a small theme song for Spooky Town USA. I'm not going to sing it.
I'll
It's
have to hear it
privileged,
later.
but it's yeah. It's I mean it's
I
really
love
not
that.
anything. It's just Spooky Town USA over and over again.
My favorite moment at Michael's, there's two. One, I found out Michael's does birthday parties.
Shut the fuck up. Do they really?
They do birthday parties.
Oh my God,
Two,
okay.
all the Halloween stuff, right? And I'm
Right.
walking down one aisle and I've got the little one's hand and I was like, this side is too bougie. We gotta go to the dark side. And the little one goes, too bougie. Go dark.
It's perfect.
I've trained him.
You have. Oh my God. You single-handedly are raising the salvation of America and dare I say it, the whole globe.
One of the best parenting moments of my life.
Let me ask you this. Was the too bougie section the like whole 1970s groovy ghost thing they have going on?
No,
Or was
it
it
was
like the white and pink like weird gothic but like not gothic?
it was like farmhouse Halloween.
No, pass.
It
No.
was like white farmhouse Halloween. And I was just
Okay,
like,
I think I'm picturing what you're talking about.
it was just like, no, no, thank you.
Okay. No,
And
we
we
need
hopped over to spooky because
dark and
that's
spooky.
Halloween.
That is. We are deciding firmly to establish ourselves as the cool people on the block this year, and
As you are.
we are staking our claim. We are purchasing king size candy bars to hand out this year. I want somebody else in this development to try and fucking come for us. We will defend the title all day long.
I love you.
Thank you. I will say now though that I will be taking one of those king size Mr. Good bars for myself because I love Mr. Good bars. Delicious.
I love this for you. I love that you guys are doing this.
Thank
That's a
you.
fond memory of mine. When I was a kid, we would ditch our neighborhood and go up to the rich neighborhood and get the king size
There it
bars.
is.
So
There it,
you're establishing dominance, and
that's
I
right.
see nothing wrong with that.
And I will proudly stand on my driveway on Halloween and hand those bars out and flip off all my fucking wimp ass neighbors.
They know who's gonna be the cool house
They need to know.
forever.
That's right. It's called being an alpha, kids. The other important thing that I needed to share with you, we drew our Halloween costumes out of our bag. You know how we have the bag of ideas?
Yes.
I have homework to do
Do I get to
because
know?
would you like to know?
I
Or
need to
should I
know.
should I leave everybody, including the odd fam, in suspense?
Okay, you can leave the odd fam in suspense, but I need to know.
All right, odd fam, you're gonna find out when we do our video and I post it on the Instagram. Long story short, I need to educate myself, and also we have to start shopping for our costumes, and also the costumes for the dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
What
Ooh,
I'm,
I have an idea.
I have one as well for Boo.
I have good
Actually, I
ideas
have
here.
two for Boo. Um, what I'm thrilled to share though is that since my parents are living with us, we'll have extra hands to help us film this thing. Because can I tell you how fucking hard it is? It's
Yeah, when it's just the two of you. But I was about to ask, are mom and dad included in the family costume now?
wow, I literally don't know. I need to ask them. That's a whole other conversation we need to have. Um, I don't know. Like my dad doesn't dress up for Halloween. Mom might be down to be a part of
It
this. I don't
might be
know.
a requirement living in your house.
We might need to require this shit, or they have to do their own group costume. We just don't know.
They might have to pull from the bed.
They got to pull from the bag, and then we'll just recycle it
Could
for
you
next year.
imagine what they.
Chaos, sheer chaos. So, anywho, I'm thrilled to say that here we are recording September 9th, and in my soul, spooky season is underway.
I love that for you. I love
Thank
that
you.
for you.
I love the support. Thank you. It's much appreciated. Now that we've been intolerable for nearly 13 minutes, shall we carry on, my wayward bestie, and do our topics is?
Yes.
Mine is not super lengthy, but not super short either. It's a happy medium.
I think mine's a happy medium. But
Okay.
probably on the short end because it falls into categories we've covered before.
Okay. I went first last week. Would you like to
Okay.
go first?
Yes, I will go first.
Okay.
Today I am covering the Mojave Bigfoot, the Sierra Highway Devil, the Marvin of Mojave, the Yucca Man.
Oh my God, all of the above, all one
Yes,
time.
these are all.
Oh, the man,
These
the myth,
are
the legend.
yeah. These are all the names.
Wow, I love that. Wow.
Ultimately, it is known as the Yucca Man,
Okay,
right?
very
But
cool.
those were all the nicknames. I just loved all the nicknames, so we had
There
to.
was there was like one of those that really sang to my soul, and now I like don't remember it. Say them once more.
The Mojave Bigfoot, the
No.
Sierra Highway Devil,
Oh, maybe that
The
one.
Marvin of Mojave.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
Marvin.
do.
Okay.
And but ultimately, it's the Yucca Man.
Okay.
Those who have lived in the Antelope Valley have or may be familiar with this. Um, it's the local cryptid of this area. Um, he he is the Sasquatch of the desert. He
I
is a
love
cousin,
this.
a brother, a family member, some would say,
Yes.
of Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Possibly.
he's like the surfer dude, Bigfoot.
He's the West Coast Bigfoot.
Oh my
He's the
God, I love
California
this.
Bigfoot. I'm That's all that I've gotten with this, right?
Okay, what
I've
more do
had
we
him on
need?
I've had him on my list for a while, mainly cuz I live in the Antelope Valley and one of the pages that I'm on, somebody spotted the Yucca Man on their hunting cam and
Shut
they
up.
posted it on the community page, and let me tell you, I stared at this photo for so long and was like, am I high?
Oh my God. Oh no. Okay.
Because I don't know what I was staring at, but I was like, yeah, that looks like Bigfoot. It was the clearest photo I've ever seen of Bigfoot because let's be real here. Every photo you see of Bigfoot, it's the
Rainy
the
ass
worst,
shit.
the
Uh-huh.
grainiest, the blurriest, the just like were you shaking when you took the photo? Like, come on, why would you? No,
Right.
this was clear as day,
And it was the Martin.
but it was the backside
Oh, did he have a
of
cute
Big
little tuchus?
Kind of, actually.
Oh my God.
Had a
Get it,
nice
Martin?
booty.
Okay.
So
Very California.
I was like, well, I gotta add that to the list. Just, but
Holy
I've been
shit.
sitting on it for a while because at that time it seemed like we'd been covering a lot of Bigfoot similar
Okay,
cryptids. So I was
fair.
like,
Fair.
we gotta space him out.
I can't
One
believe
of
that
the
I can't I'm still like reeling from the fact that somebody like I okay, carry on. Just
yeah,
leave me. Go on without me. Okay.
one of the first encounters was on the night of 1971. In 1971, the Yucca Man was first spotted in 29 Palms, a Marine base down here in Southern California. The story
Sure.
changes slightly depending on the source, game of telephone. But it's said that a Marine guard on duty was found in the morning after his shift unconscious with his rifle bent in half. When he asked
Oh.
what happened to him, the Marine stated that a huge, hairy man had appeared out of the dark and came towards him. The Marine lifted his rifle and ordered the figure to stop, but it took the rifle from him, bent it in half, and the Marine was then knocked unconscious.
Well, play stupid games, win
Yep.
stupid prizes. I mean, if you see a giant ass Bigfoot coming towards you, you don't need to just be cool. Like, just be
Yep.
cool.
Just be like, hi, friend.
Welcome. Yeah. Like, just get down with it.
He stated that the creature had glowing red eyes and smelled horrible.
Same.
According to the Occult Museum, both the FBI and the CIA were brought into the investigation of the incident,
Oh, good.
and it was not clear what they found. Apparently, there was at least two other sightings of similar figures that night. One sighting described that there was a 12-foot tall figure with similar um,
Features.
features, but like that led to a dead end.
Oh
Other
no.
reports called in that their dogs kept barking at something in the neighborhood with similar features, but that led to a dead end. So that story just comes to an end there.
Oh my God, okay. You know
So
why?
who
Because the
knows?
FBI and the CIA just like probably fucking did the Men in Black thing and wiped their minds and everything.
Yep, flashbang, boom.
Yeah, that's it.
In
Wow.
Fontana, there was a racetrack north of Foothill Boulevard called Mickey Thompson's Fontana Dragway. This racetrack ran from 1955 to 1972 when it closed. After a series of deaths, spectators of the crashes said that they saw someone they called the Speedway Monster, which was
Oh.
assumed to be a wild man resident of the nearby San Gabriel Mountains who frequently crossed the land and the edge of the dragway. Later reports of that was the Yucca Man,
Oh my God.
apparently.
He just wanted to have like a joyride or whatever.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
um, and they believed in that area they were also able to find his footprints.
Oh.
Later reports of the Yucca Man came in 1979 when a couple from the Desert Hot Springs reported that their car was spotted by a large or stopped by a large hairy man who stepped out into the road. They described it. It's described that it stepped out in front of behind a yucca bush. That's how he
Oh.
got his name.
Hence the Yucca Man. Okay.
And its chest was the size of a refrigerator,
Oh.
with its arms hanging below its knees, and long hair tan. And after stopping the car, the figure then left into the desert.
He was just
Just it
like,
was
bye.
spotted, it looked at it and ran, or just disappeared. Like, okay, I'm not gonna hurt
Listen,
you, but you're in my area, and left.
took a cue from Bigfoot himself and was like, I'm just gonna do the thing where I stop and stare and keep moving. It's fine.
Yep. Investigators have claimed that, like Bigfoot, the Yucca Man is an ancient humanoid creature that was pushed out of its native habitats around the area of San Bernardino Mountains, began to develop increasing amounts of sightings taking place in the Joshua Tree National Forest. Again, that's around our area.
Oh.
Um, there have been a lot of sightings. No deaths have been reporting. The only violent encounter was that Marine.
Okay, well, to be fair, that Marine kind of was like,
Did point a gun at him.
yeah, like he like kind of instigated things. So,
Yeah. People do try to connect the Yucca Man to Native Americans that inhabited the Antelope Valley, but the Native Americans used to call the Yucca Man apparently hairy devils.
oh,
So it does
okay.
actually go back that far.
But they're not the source. Like, I don't think that
I
they're like,
wouldn't say
there's
they're
nothing
the
to do
source
with.
though, because
Yeah,
if the Native Americans were calling them the hairy devils, they have lived here for that long
they've
then.
been there. Yeah, right.
They've been here since the beginning.
Yeah,
They've been cohabitating since the beginning, not created from.
right,
So
exactly.
I think that's interesting. Um, I thought this one was interesting. Edwards Air Force Base, out here, is said to have several encounters with the Yucca Man. It has been reported that there is an underground infrastructure at Edwards Air Force Base and is monitored by the base. According to the tale, security cameras has picked up several furry beasts seen moving through the underground tunnels.
Oh, they found their way in. Oh my God, it's like the Denver airport and the lizard people.
It
Oh
is.
no. Okay.
Bigfoot researcher Bobby Ann Slate took reports from several Air Force Base basemen, including Sergeant House, who claimed that they had seen a pair of large blue looming eyes looking at him while he was on patrol in his car. These eyes were said to be about 4 inches apart and 7 feet off the ground. These
Damn.
eyes were first noticed about 200 to 300 yards to his left, but then proceeded closer to the car about 100 yards before stopping. Then the air began to smell, and the eyes were only about 50 yards away. Sergeant House stated that the movement of the eyes were extremely fast. Another thing that bothered me was that they didn't bob up and down. It was like two lights on a wire moving from one point to another. He then drove off after apparently getting a distress radio call.
Weird to me that these eyes were blue, but like it's described as having red eyes, you know?
Yeah. I'm wondering, well,
Interesting.
I'm wondering, they have to mate if they exist, right?
Big time.
I think that they have families and stuff, so I'm wondering, like you and me and everyone else, blue eyes, red eyes, green eyes, yellow eye, like, I'm wondering if
Yeah.
they have different color
Genetics.
eyes and genetics.
Listen,
It's it's piquing questions.
you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals.
There you go.
Yucca man included. So,
Yep.
it's it's possible.
Um, One of the articles I found was the most recent encounter was in 2012. However, I have recently read something else. It was this
Yeah.
year that there was an encounter, or, well, I wouldn't say it was an encounter, it was a sighting.
Dude, close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he is just a very tall, furry, interesting creature.
I have to come back and we have to go looking for him. But like
Among the
respectfully,
Joshua trees.
among the Joshua trees, we need to go to the park.
Yep.
Oh my God. All right. Wow, I love this for us.
There
I
is.
love the Yucca Man.
And apparently there's a Yucca Man shakedown.
A
There's a
what?
summer solstice celebration. The last one was in 2020 though, and I don't know that there's been one since. That's the problem.
Well, I'm gonna need them to bring it back.
Yeah. If there is one, I need to go to it.
Yeah, you
And you
immediately have to go
yeah.
to it and you need to report back to us, all of us.
Yes. So, there you go. There's another cousin of the Bigfoot. I'm kind of
I
at
love
this
him.
point very much convinced there are Bigfoot everywhere.
Have to be. Like some variation.
I feel like they're all related.
You had the one in Afghanistan, right?
Yep.
And this guy, we've got the Cajun Sasquatch, we've
Hmm.
got regular old run-of-the-mill Bigfoot. I'm pretty sure there's one running around Canada.
Yep.
Curious about South America. We should just cover all the continents.
I'm not going to stop covering them just because they're all similar. I'm going to
No, we
keep
need to
going.
prove this.
I love them,
I do too.
but I do believe that they're all just connected in some way, shape, or form.
I think you're right. Hey, just like how most of the globe was connected at one point, like they probably just,
Mm-hmm.
split apart, things shit happens and they're all just like doing their own thing now across the world.
Yep.
Love that for them.
And now there's a jet flying above my house, so that's fun.
Meant to be. I loved this. Well done, bestie. And I can't believe that somebody was like, "Hey, check out this trail cam photo of this fucking clear ass Yucca Man."
I'll send you the trail cam photo of him. In fact, let me do that right now
Please.
while you're
Yes.
about to go on your little road trip. Where are
Oh,
we
yeah,
headed to next?
yeah, continuing my little road trip of the US, haunted, spooky US. We're going to the Village of the Damned,
Okay, take me
and
with you.
it's not another name for the corporation that I currently work for. It's in Connecticut.
Okay.
So, yeah, so the Dudleytown curse brought misfortune, madness, and death to people who lived in Dudleytown, aka the Village of the Damned, in Connecticut. English noblemen beheaded for treason started the curse way back in the 16th century. I remember it well. Their descendants then brought it to the hamlet in Cornwall, Connecticut before the American Revolution, and eventually those dark supernatural forces like drove the villagers away, basically leaving a spookala forest that grew over a ghost town. So the story
Mm.
goes. Today, it's now a privately owned nature like preserve, accessed by an old carriage trail known as the Dark Entry. Same. Um, Nearby are the Bald and Coltsfoot Mountains and the Housatonic River. These locations attract numerous hikers and boaters, and of course, the thrill seeking ghost hunter, such as ourselves, drawn by tales of hauntings told by a couple of self appointed demonologists who like lead investigations here. Um, so, disbelievers of the Dudleytown curse, in fact, say that the only curse upon the area is the tourists. So, the first thing you notice when you visit Dudleytown is the very, very deep, very thick, dense, dark woods. You don't even need to go there to know that. The map shows the name of the road that goes through it, aka the Dark Entry. The second thing that you notice about this area, supposedly, is the completely and totally just unnatural silence. You don't hear songbirds, you don't hear crows, there's no squirrels, there's nothing. At least that was true back in the 1960s. You might see a cellar hole or two or a ruined stone wall, which are remnants of the abandoned village, little ruins around. Spooky.
Yeah.
And you will hear the stories of the mysterious supernatural forces that caused everybody to like peace out. They were like, we've had it, we've seen
We're
enough,
done.
we're out of here. So, the curse, the Dudleytown curse, they say, began with Edmund Dudley himself, who was beheaded by Henry VIII on a charge of treason.
What was with Henry VIII and beheading?
Drastic, very drastic measures. Then Edmund's son, John, who was the Duke of Northumberland, plotted to install his daughter in law, Lady Jane Grey, as Queen of England. The plot failed, and he and Jane both lost their heads. So we just got heads are rolling
Yep.
left and right. One of John's descendants, William Dudley, he emigrates to Guilford, Connecticut during the Puritan Great Migration. He's like, ye old, and he's like, hey, check out Connecticut. This shit's where it's at.
It's
Put my
like
ass on a boat,
yield.
let's go. Direct quote, all of the above. His descendants came to a hamlet in the hills settled in 1738 by Thomas Griffiths. Could also be Griffith, we just don't know because ye old, but he was a farmer. First came Gideon Dudley. Then, in 1747, Abiel and Barzillai arrived. These names are names I could not possibly make up. Then later came Martin and Obijah Dudley. Anywho, they clear the land, they form this community, and they farm flax, wheat, and corn. And they're like, sick. Like, check out all this like crops and shit that we've got going on. They're like, let's, trade shit, let's make some money, let's like feed our families a bunch of flax so nobody gets constipated, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then 1792 hits and the first untimely death with it. Bum bum bum. I mean, one would argue that the beheadings were untimely deaths too, but we're moving ahead from that. So, Gershon Gershon Hollister was murdered in a home owned by William Tanner, who lived next door to Abiel Dudley. Afterward, Tanner started talking about wild animals and demons and then went totally mad. Yes, animals and demons, the gateway to madness. So,
Okay.
yep. Abiel Dudley then became the next curse victim. He lost all of his possessions, including his mind.
Why am I thinking rabies?
You're probably thinking, right, I don't know. So the Nathaniel Carter family then lived in Abiel Dudley's house. But then they were like, no, we're done. We're moving to Binghamton, New York. They built a log cabin. Then one day, while now Nathaniel's away, I guess Native Americans were like, you guys are up in our shit. And then they supposedly killed his wife and captured his three children. And then when he came back, they supposedly killed him too. I like to think that that's probably not the case. I think there was probably some shit. Nathaniel was probably acting a dick. Again, they settled on a place where they shouldn't be, but whatever. Let's get back to the madness. So after the American Revolution, General Herman Swift, these names, returned to his home in Dudleytown. There, he lost his third wife to a lightning strike and then went stark raving mad. Then, in 1872, Horace Greeley was running for president. He was like, shit, I want in on this. 1 week before he loses the election, his wife hangs herself in Dudleytown, where she had grown up. Then, 1924 rolls around, so we got a little bit of a leap forward here. We have Dr. William Clark, a New York cancer special specialist, and he buys 1,000 acres on Bald Mountain, part of which belonged to Dudleytown. He's like, dibs. One summer, he goes to New York for a brief business trip and returns to find that his wife had gone insane, and she spent the rest of her life in a mental hospital. So, it's true that Dudleytown residents abandoned their homes, but some say it's not because of mysterious supernatural forces. They say, they being historians and other people who are no fun apparently, left because Dudleytown had lousy farmland and the newly opened West opened more opportunities for them. By that point, Cornwall, Connecticut, which is like the same area, that population had dwindled by half to 834 residents, and its cheap rural estate and closest to New York City attracts urbanites seeking rural solitude on weekends. Another Dudley, Reverend Gary P. Dudley, went to work uh, on debunking the tales of murder, suicide, and madness that supposedly resulted from the Dudleytown curse. A descendant of the Dudleytown Dudleys, he pores over old records, newspapers, whatever the fuck he could find. In 1999, he reports his conclusions, and the Cornwall Historical Society sets the record straight. And it seems the Dudleys of Dudleytown had no connections to the noblemen who kicked off the curse who were beheaded in England. They're like, psych, no correlation at all. They say that Gershon Hollister wasn't murdered. He fell from a rafter to his death because he was doing a barn raising and he was like, oops, and just like fell off. Abiel Dudley didn't go mad. He lived until 90 and then he got like a little, like not with it. The Carter tragedy actually happened a long way from Dudleytown. Carter had built a house at the forks of the Delaware wilderness, right in the middle of Native American country. And what did he expect? His three children, in fact, survived, and his son ended up becoming a state Supreme Court justice. So there's a nice, fine little tidbit of people putting terrible spins on history, fucking racist ass bullshit. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anywho, Herman Swift never resided in Dudleytown. He lived to 81 and also got like a little like,
Yeah.
whatever. Horace Greeley's wife never actually even set foot in Dudleytown. She died of lung disease in New York City. So the unearthly silence that people hear, supposedly, when they go to the area, is due to the fact that in sometime in the 1960s, Dudleytown had been sprayed with DDT, killing off effectively most of the wildlife there. Now, There's this Dr. Walter Clark in Dudleytown. This guy, there's a little bit about him that I need to get into. So he bought his place in 1900 for weekend visits. His wife had a chronic disease, couldn't stand the pain. Sometime in 1918, she commits suicide in New York City. But sadly, but
Yeah.
Clark continues to spend his weekends in the country in Dudleytown. So when Clark first arrived, the Dark Entry Forest was just a name. There was no forest, there was no dark entry because Dudleytown farmers had clear cut the land to grow their fucking flax and bullshit. And Clark was like, I don't like this, I want to change this. So in 1924, he and friends form the Dark Entry Forest Association with the aim of reforesting the land. And they're like, hey, what if we do this and then we can run a wood mill and we can also like offer fun shit to like kids? So they plant thousands of trees. And by the 1930s, a New York ski club used trails for skiing and summer camps used them for horseback riding. And visitors also canoed down the Housatonic River admiring these forests that they essentially have built up. However, all this fun ended when the association closes the forest to visitors. Now let's talk about the supernatural shenanigans behind this, if you will. So, one over the top account called Dudleytown, Village of the Damned, uh, saying that this is a ghost town so apparently haunted that it's permanently closed to the public. Anywho, it all starts in 1926. Edward C. Starr publishes his History of Cornwall, and for some reason he decides to include 2 pages of fictions about Dudleytown residents. And the book actually at the time tanked. It didn't get like any attention. And then for some reason in the early 70s, a Connecticut couple, Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Shut up.
no, can you believe it? They fucking always weasel their way in on shit. I'm so annoyed. Anywho, they videotape a Halloween special from Dudleytown and they declare it demonically possessed. And Ed Warren says that Dudleytown was, quote, controlled by something terrifying.
Those fucking assholes.
You didn't see it coming, did you? Surprise, bitch. So, the Warrens, of course, as we know, are self styled demonologists. They famously investigated the Amityville haunting. We've got the whole Conjuring House bullshit. As we know, they have their quote unquote occult museum in the back of their Monroe home. They wrote books such as Satan's Harvest, Werewolf, and Ghost Hunters, true stories from the world's most famous demonologists. Anywho, skeptics investigating their claims concluded that they promoted a lot of bullshit, as we know. They didn't stop their investigation of Dudleytown from opening the floodgates to annoying tourists, though. So, Cornwall residents then start complaining because legends of this supposed curse or whatever bring noisy hordes. Motorcycle clubs throw beer cans along the side of the road. Drivers along the carriage trails get stuck and need towing. Tour buses, like disgorged thrill seekers who stood on the ground waiting to feel supernatural vibrations. Ghost hunters come through with recording devices to make videos and whatever else. And so the shit kind of hits the fan for the area because you've got all these tourists coming in, and apparently nobody can fucking be grown ups and take care of, areas that they visit, as we know. So the Dark Entry Forest Association says enough's enough and they close the forest to the public. In 2011, police arrested 8 filmmakers who strayed off the public roads onto private property. And now stories about Dudleytown come with a warning. It's so creepy you're not allowed in, but really it's all bullshit and it's because people were ruining everything. Then there's Harriet Clark, who's former president of the Cornwall Historical Society, wrote a book about the real history of Dudleytown. It's called The True Facts of Dudleytown. And she writes, quote, today's owners and taxpayers of Dudleytown are professional people who live for their privacy and seclusion. They do not welcome tourists or those seeking tales of chilling or wild experiences. Please do not come. There are no ghosts, no spirits, and no curse. Bitch couldn't be
Debunked.
clearer. Like, that's it. There is a hermit of Dudleytown.
I love that.
Just a little nugget here. In 1989, he actually still lived there. His name is Walter Killam. He was an architect. Moved to Dudleytown in 1938 after camping there overnight. So I guess he was like camping. He was like, "This is the shit. Gotta live here." So he buys 40 acres and then builds 14 buildings on the property.
Okay.
It
Go
he
big or
was
go home.
Yeah. For some reason, and I couldn't figure out why, but like the New York Times reported on all this on October 29th, 1989, and it said that people would ask him where to find ghosts, and he would say, quote, I tell them if you believe in ghosts, I guess you'll find one. If you don't, then there aren't going to be any.
What an answer.
Walter, you hit the nail on the head.
I love Walter.
I
Go,
love Walter
Walter.
too. Walter's my spirit animal. So, anywho, that's the Village of the Damned. Long story short, it's a lot of bogusness. What you have here is a prime example of
I
people making up
wasn't
shit and the game of telephone.
I wasn't expecting that fucking plot twist.
Ed and Lorraine.
Fucking Ed and Lorraine.
When I was researching this, as soon as I saw their names, I'm like, fuck you guys. I have to include this though, and I have to do this.
Yeah, if you didn't include it, I would have been pissed.
I was like, I have to. They're here. And I bet you Lorraine Warren wore a very stupid outfit the entire time that she was there. It's just
Duh.
in her nature. And yeah, that's the Village of the Damned. Now, personally, if you have an establishment that's that old, we're going back to Puritans. I
Yeah.
have to believe that there's probably some ghosts walking around there. Do I think it's cursed? No.
No,
I think
it's not cursed, but yeah, like, well, if you believe in ghosts, they're there.
they're there. I mean, just ask Walter. And if you don't, then they're not. Like, he's like,
What an
bitch, I don't know what
answer.
to tell you.
What an
Yeah,
answer. What a gem.
I know.
Walter.
We love to see it. We love it. And I love the woman who wrote the book, and she was like, please don't come. You're ruining everything.
I love the just getting to the point. I love that.
Listen, the people
God.
of Dudleytown are a vibe.
Yeah,
Or
what a
I guess,
vibe.
what Cornwall because it's next door or whatever. But yeah, so that's the Village of the Damned. And so our expedition of creepy US moves on.
I love it.
Thank you. I loved yours. This was a fun, funky, fresh episode.
This was good. This was a good way to start the week. All right.
This was a good start to the week. So let us know what you kids think. Of course, Bigfoot's real. I won't hear it any other way.
The Mojave Marvin.
The Mojave Marvin, and let us know what you think about the Village of the Damned. I
I don't
think
think they're damned.
I don't think they're damned at all, but I do think there's
Yep.
probably some ghosts hanging out in that bitch.
Yep.
And until next time.
Stay strange.